Bonjour MamFam, it is our first time ever in Disneyland Paris.
We're going to spend the day riding the rides, seeing the shows, trying the snacks, all the best things this park has to offer.
Let's go. Alan.
Yes.
What are you most excited to do today for your first time in Disneyland Paris?
Ride Phantom Manor. Max.
Yes.
What are you most excited about doing today at Disneyland Paris?
I've heard tell that there's a dragon hiding under this castle.
Ooh.
Molly,
Yes.
what are you most excited about today at Disneyland Paris?
I am very excited to see Disney Tales of Magic, the new nighttime show, and Pirates of the Caribbean is my favorite Disney ride, and this is the last one I have to ride to have done them all worldwide.
Wow.
This is the most beautiful park entrance I've ever seen. Hello? We're not even in yet? It is truly beautiful right here. The flowers. It's so beautiful. And the Disneyland Hotel right here? Wow.
Okay, we are about to walk down Main Street, USA for the first time. See a new castle. Whoa.
It's so pretty!
It really is. Wow. Whoa. That's gorgeous. Whoa.
That is so beautiful.
Well, another one off the list.
Is this the prettiest one?
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
it may be.
I mean, Shanghai is a top contender, but this is beautiful.
I've always loved the way
The arching.
I love the arch. I love the way the grass goes up like
Yeah.
the sides to it.
That's stunning.
It's always so funny walking down a new Main Street because it's like, I know this, but I don't know this at the same time.
Yeah. I'm sorry, is that just a waterfall casually on the side of the castle?
I never noticed that before in any pictures I've
Oh,
seen.
wow. Beautiful. You know, the music, very familiar, even if the location has changed. We've noticed all of these beautiful spinning statuettes as we've walked in. They've been relatively themed to the land that they're by. Tomorrowland having Baymax and Stitch and some futuristic characters. Now, we've noticed some princesses and villains here in front of the beautiful castle that Max is taking a photo of. I've also noticed some villains here. We have Maleficent with a dragon under her robes breathing fire, which is very cool. Molly, come. Come. No, come.
No, I don't.
Look who's joined us here at Disneyland Paris.
That's a nightmare.
Well, Ursula, look at her.
I hate it. But I love the magical sidekick section with Tinkerbell, Genie, and the three good
Yes,
fairies.
that is very, very nice.
Yeah, well, she's pretty. She's pretty. And I can't wait to explore, because there's multiple things to do inside the castle. Oh, did you guys notice those boxy trees?
Love the boxy tree.
I just noticed those.
Also, like, I know we said it on the walk in here, but that water feature being just there on the castle.
Yeah, I've always loved the way the greenery goes all the way up the side of the castle. It really looks like you could walk right up to the spires.
This castle is held, Alan, I'm going to let you say this.
This castle is called Le Château de la Belle à Bois Dormant. So that is the castle of the beauty in the sleeping forest.
And it is absolutely stunning. It's not as big as it may look, though. It's 164 feet tall compared to Magic Kingdom's 189-foot tall castle, but I've always heard it's the most beautiful one, and I think confirmed.
Yeah.
Confirmed. We got one to go, but I think this one's in the lead as far as aesthetics.
You know, in a country full of actual castles, it makes sense that this one would be gorgeous.
Disneyland Paris opened as Euro Disney in 1992, and it consists of 5 lands: Main Street USA, Frontierland, Adventureland, Fantasyland, and Discoveryland.
Ooh.
instead of Tomorrowland. Disneyland and Be Our Guest were kind enough to arrange our tickets for today, but a single park ticket for the day we are here would be $105, and a park hopper would be $133. They were also kind enough to give us Disney Premier Access Ultimate, which is their version of FastPass or Lightning Lane. There are two versions of this system. There is Disney Premier Access 1, which you can purchase once you're inside the park, and that is an individual cost per ride that you'd like to do. Basically fancy rides. You pick and choose which rides you'd like to skip the line on. While we're here, those cost between 5 and 21 euros per person, depending on what the attraction is. For these, when you pay per attraction, you're also reserving a time, and they can sell out throughout the day, so recommend if this is the way you want to go, booking those as soon as you get into the park. There's also Disney Premier Access Ultimate, which you can book in advance. You can have your travel agent or you can add it onto your ticket. That grants you access to all of the attractions that have Premier Access without any time slots. You can go whenever you want, once per attraction. It starts at $90 during the time we're here, so it really just depends how many attractions you're gonna do. Personally, I like the fact that you can add it on in advance. It's totally taken care of, and I like the convenience of not having to book individual times. So that's what we're doing throughout our trip, just so that we can make sure to ride everything we want and have a little bit more leisurely day.
Well, we have spent enough time looking at it. Let's explore it a little bit. First stop of the day, Lightyear du Dragon, the lair of the dragon. As I said, there may be a creature sleeping beneath this castle. I think this is something all three of us have been incredibly excited to see in our time building up to this trip. Let us see a big scaly beast. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're so much closer than I thought you'd be.
I know. Look it up too. Look, it's like the whole cavern is so creepy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Oh my god, you're so close. Whoa.
I could boop that snoot.
That is so cool.
I'm obsessed with this.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, little guy.
Hi.
Look at the detail of him as it goes all the way around the back.
Yeah.
You can see his wings,
Yeah.
his tail, and the bats like behind him.
Oh my gosh.
This is so awesome.
The wings are just like slightly moving.
This is,
Oh, hello.
this is so cool. He's breathing.
Yes. I'm obsessed.
This is so cool.
I'm obsessed with this
is so
thing.
cool.
That is amazing. The description on the Disneyland Paris website says, tiptoe through the dark dungeon, Lightyear du Dragon, underneath Sleeping Beauty Castle, where a monstrous prisoner lurks. Once the ruler of the skies, this defeated dragon lies chained against jagged rocks. It may be dozing, but tread carefully, as one false move will lead to a hot, rumbling surprise.
I'm officially Team Dragon.
Yeah,
Free him.
no
Dragon.
kidding.
Free the
It's
beast.
pretty dark that they've like
Chained
Yeah.
up
Chained
this
him
majestic
up?
creature.
Yeah, free him.
free him. I want to see him fly.
Also,
Oh,
can I take him home as a pet?
yeah.
Most
no
importantly,
kidding.
does he have merch?
Yeah, I need
Oh
it.
yes. If not, Disneyland Paris, we beseech you.
Yeah.
We gotta look if he has a name.
And from the lair of the dragon, we emerge into Merlin's shop. Owl is, of course, representing his erstwhile companion, Artemis. And all throughout, Merlin's inventions. You have the flying machine, you have the planets that he's teaching Arthur about during his time together in The Sword and the Stone. Now, oh yes, his hat on the far side. Now, of course, now the shop itself looks to be crystal arts and jewelry, but wrapped up in this love letter to The Sword and the Stone and Merlin, one of my favorite Disney films. However, interestingly enough, the columns throughout here have Diablo, the Raven, Maleficent's Raven, because it's covered with thorns in the background, one of Maleficent's calling cards. Very interesting. Oh, and then we have a baguette magique made of glass with a dragon on it. That's cool. And from Merlin's shop, we emerge into Fantasyland.
All right, well, the dragon was awesome. I think we can go home now. We've seen cool things, and we're all set. Just kidding. Now we're in the castle, and it's stunningly beautiful with these different crests and the artwork and the large columns. And I love that it is like rock work, as if it was carved out of a cave, and then also the stonework that was clearly arranged here. But we can actually go in the castle. This is a thing I love about the international castles, actually also Disneyland. Basically, everywhere but Magic Kingdom, you can walk through an exhibit in the castle. And this one is called La Galerie de la Belle à Bois Dormant, which I think would translate to the Gallery of Sleeping Beauty. And it starts with the storybook, like from the animated film, but of course it's in French. Ooh. Ah, I love a glitter moment in the trees. Look at all this beautiful stained glass. I think we're gonna learn the story of Sleeping Beauty right now, which all starts with a petty queen being mad she wasn't invited to a baby shower. The stained glass is so stunning, but then they also have some practical set elements as well, like here's the fireplace with the spinning wheel being burned right in the middle there. You have the spinning wheel, but I actually quite like these sleepy boys, these guards after Maleficent. Well, I guess the fairies curse everyone so they go to sleep instead of die. There's Diablo, Prince Philip to the rescue, and then they smooch. And she wakes up and they live happily ever after. Fun fact about Princess Aurora, she is the Disney princess who's in her movie the least. She's only in the film for 19 minutes, even though she's the titular character. And what a view. I know these castle walkthroughs, dragon excluded here, these castle walkthroughs are usually not big e-ticket attractions when you're in these parks, but I find it really novel since we don't have one in Florida. And I find them just a little simple joy to walk through them and then look out over Fantasyland.
As we are starting our morning and stepping into Fantasyland, we are going to prioritize a couple of the rides that do not have the Premier Access Pass available. And so, starting out is Snow White. Now, this is called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's unclear to us how scary this adventure will be.
The Queen's up there.
She's up there.
She's up there.
She's looking.
And from the description, it sounds like it's Snow White's Scary Adventure, formerly in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, which version?
We're gonna find out.
A complete nightmare like Tokyo? Who's to say?
I can't wait to find out.
We will be able to say in
10
moments. I mean, I don't love the cackling that's coming from this room. What a nightmare.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah. So far it is a leaning, scary adventure.
Hey, which dwarf cart do you want to ride?
I'm gonna go with Sleepy, because I'm always sleepy.
I'm gonna go with Bashful, because I'm bashful.
I'm gonna go with Dog. Some dog.
Ainsi déguisé, le coup est joué.
Oh my god.
Une dévore pour blanchir. C'est ma pomme. Imbécile!
So it was in fact a nightmare.
Yep.
Yes, it's a nightmare.
Wow. And in some new ways.
Do you want to know how I know this ride was built in the 90s?
Well, how's that?
Prince Charming's hair at the
Oh,
end. It is the swoop.
Snow White and Prince Charming at the end are... Snow White appears earlier in the ride and looks normal.
Yeah.
And then, at the end,
Yeah. Wow.
she,
Shout out the zip-lining skeleton.
I love that, and I love scary trees.
yeah, I was gonna say, the actual creaking physical looming trees.
I love scary trees.
Also, I gotta say, the hag jump scares were peak
She's
for
good.
this one.
I love this ride. I love when Fantasyland is scary.
Yeah.
I love that this ride's a nightmare, but we have seen children come off screaming.
Yeah,
so-
literally right behind us, screaming and
But
crying.
we were like, correct, child.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
correct.
right.
Accurate.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Now, after such a nightmare, I think we've earned ourselves a treat. So we're headed back to Main Street to find some kind of breakfast. But one thing I thought was unusual that we're not used to in the domestic parks is they had a self-group to get on the ride. Meaning there were 3 rows on the cars, each could sit up to 2 adults, and they had you get in your own line and board the attraction. Nobody was saying 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. They just expect you to know how to do it. Got distracted on our way back to Main Street for food. This is just inside a store. It's just the whole cottage of Snow White and the dwarves and, you know, that nightmare. But it appears to be a princess-themed shop, but just beautiful. If you watch the mirror for long enough, it's more of a nightmare.
Oh, wow. How better to reward ourselves for a trip through an absolutely mortifying forest than to stop by the Market House Delicatessen. This has not only items like croque monsieur or croque hamon, but has things like croissants and coffee, which I know I desperately need this morning. So let's pop inside. The interior of this does look a little bit like a Market Delicatessen and a little bit of a provisions shop.
What
And
you are
it's-
not capturing in this video is the smell that hits you the moment you walk in.
Yeah,
Oh
buttery, flaky
my
pastry.
gosh.
I'm dying. All right, I had the croque monsieur with turkey. So I'm, first of all, enamored by the size of the sandwich. I'm no surprise that the bread is delicious. So cheesy. Oh, is this the best breakfast I've ever had in a Disney theme park? Yes. Yeah.
And I got the croque monsieur with ham. So crusty on the bread, the cheese. That is gonna be tough to beat for a early morning Disney snack.
And while I will absolutely be stealing bites of the hot toasty sandwiches, I couldn't resist this. A Mickey-shaped sandwich with pretzel bread and ham and cheese, and then some spreadable cheese made by a French dairy company that has a sponsorship here. That's also pretty good. The pretzel bread is nice and fluffy, but it has that distinct pretzel flavor. And then you've got a little bit of ham, nice kind of simple nutty cheese. I wish there was more of that spreadable cheese because it's a little bit dry because of how thick the pretzel bread is, but overall, an above average sandwich, and I would say everything on the table is simple deliciousness, which is exactly what I expected from France. No surprise, Alan and I also got coffees, and no surprise, the coffee is fantastic.
And for a sweet treat, I got the pain au chocolat, or chocolate croissant. You know, I've had this in Magic Kingdom. This is better.
Welcome to Frontierland, everybody. On the way in, there were teepees smoking. That's fun. And here is Tobias Norton and Sons, Frontier Traders, where that individual is trading a Native American a blanket. Molly was distracted.
Is that the Queen of the River?
Molly Brown!
You know, they say the ship's unsinkable.
Oh, crossover event. Now it bears stating as we enter Frontierland, Big Thunder Mountain is currently closed for refurbishment, and in fact, there's a lot of construction going on around both of these theme parks. But that just gives us more reason to come back in the future once this construction is through. Instead, though, we are going to ride another icon of this land, looming over the landscape, Phantom Manor. Phantom Manor is Disneyland Paris' version of the Haunted Mansion, and just like every theme park around the world, it is seated in a different land, now Frontierland, and it has a unique theme that just has it fit so nicely here within. We have been distracted a bit because Mickey Mouse is here in the most adorable outfit I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my gosh, she's got a Phantom Manor outfit on. That is incredible.
Hello.
Bonjour, hello.
Hello. Come on.
Hello, Mickey.
Hi, Mickey.
Bonjour. I have to say, I love your hat. It's yes.
Mickey. J'adore ta tenue.
All right, well, after a brief interlude to meet an adorable one Mickey Mouse in an incredible Phantom Manor outfit, we are all set to ride this attraction. Now, the story of Phantom Manor is very unique because this home was originally built by Henry Ravenswood, who is a Western settler who struck gold right over there in Big Thunder Mountain and he founded the Big Thunder Mining Company, thus creating the city of Thunder Mesa, or what you would know as Frontierland as a whole. He lived in this home with his wife Martha and his daughter Melanie. Now, unfortunately, he and his wife Martha perished in an earthquake that sundered Thunder Mesa, creating these massive rifts throughout the town. Now, Melanie, who survived her parents, was set to be married to a train engineer, and they were going to be wed here in the gardens. Now, the Phantom residing in the manor lured her would-be groom to the attic, where he hung himself, leaving Melanie alone. Now, she stayed in her beautiful wedding dress as the guests of her wedding left around her, singing a forlorn song, and there she waited forever, wandering the home listlessly, always waiting for her groom. Now, when you ride this attraction and you make your way through the manor, you can listen for her song, and in the background, the maniacal laughter of the Phantom himself. This might be a controversial take, but I think this is my favorite entryway into any of the haunted mansions that I've seen worldwide. The garden is so beautifully landscaped, the flowers and their colors, I know, even coming from me, looming over you, all of the different stonework and vases that have been left over just sitting in the garden. And then, of course, you have the manor looming over you. Now, this attraction does have premier access, and if you were going to purchase it right now, it would be €7 per guest. All right, so with that fun stuff, let's go ride.
You may not believe it, but beauty once lived in this house. Perhaps you sense a disquieting metamorphosis. It appears everyone is doomed at Phantom Manor. Much to see, so look alive and stay together. I'd hate to lose you so soon.
Des 12 coups de minuit, aux matines sonnantes, nous valserons ensemble, macabre débutante.
There you are. Welcome, foolish mortals.
That might be my favorite version of the Haunted Mansion, period.
That was awesome.
Very, very cool.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Starting with, I love the fact that in the stretch room, it was alternating between French and English.
Yes.
And then the portraits in the stretch room were much, much different than anything we've seen before.
And
Very
that-
unique.
I think the thing that I'm going to call out that I love the most is that there was a very clear through story with the bride.
Yeah.
And you going on that journey with her throughout was just stellar, so creepy.
Haunting.
The piano playing "Here Comes the Bride."
It's definitely scarier than the Disney World or Disneyland version. Like, it's pretty dark. The Phantom himself is, like, scary.
He's a spooky guy.
And I love all he does. All he does is laugh.
Evil, maniacal laugh. And then you have a very cool graveyard scene.
Oh yeah, that ghost town at the end of the ride, by far my favorite graveyard scene of any mansion.
Yes.
Just really, I mean, just taking advantage of where they've put this ride,
Yes.
what land
Yeah.
it's in, and just drinking in the theming that gives them.
Okay, does anyone have a favorite part or favorite ghost or anything that they saw? Because I am obsessed with the mayor
Oh,
of the
the
ghost
mayor.
town being
The
the,
mayor.
ghost host.
Yes.
He's saying "Welcome, foolish mortals," and he's taking his whole head off.
He takes his head off.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
I think-
Callback to the OG.
Yeah, that's 100% what I was going to say is the mayor being there. If not him, then I loved in the saloon in the ghost town, or I'm sorry, in the hotel in the ghost town. They're playing poker,
Yeah.
but all you see are the floating poker cards.
Yeah.
very, very cool.
Also, I gotta say, in the stretch room, one of the portraits is a man who's being attacked by a bear. I think a few things. One, he probably didn't bring him a picnic basket.
Almost certainly that's true.
The bear probably just wanted a hug and or to tell that guy to put a shoe on.
Yeah.
Why has he got his gripper out?
That's a lesson learned, people. Put your grippers away
Or the bear and bring the
and
bears
bring
to
the
picnic
picnic
basket.
basket. Then you can hug them all you want.
Yeah, but that was that ride like blew me away. That
Very,
was
very
so
cool.
good.
Beautiful.
Oh, you look stunning.
So beautiful.
Well, we met Minnie in probably the cutest outfit I've ever seen her wear in Frontierland, and now we're looking for Adventureland, and we've noticed that the ground changes right here, and there's a lot more trees over there, so we think we're on the right path. But from one classic to another, we rode Disneyland Paris's Haunted Mansion, so now we have to find their pirates. The quest through the jungles has proved to be most perilous,
Yes,
so we needed a snack.
we indeed. I cut off the paw of a lion and stuffed ice cream in the middle.
I killed a mouse.
Wow.
I trapped him.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Something about a thorn in the paw.
Yes.
And the
Yeah,
mouse
and
and
the-
the connection.
yes,
Yes.
yes, you
a
get it.
fable here or there.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is immediately so strange. Well, first, it's obviously much smaller than our ice cream sandwiches, but the cookie is it's quite different than our cookies.
Like flavor or consistency?
Consistency.
I'm gonna shock all of you when I tell you this chocolate's better.
Oh, I'm done.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's a Mickey bar. It's vanilla ice cream, but the chocolate is incredible.
I can't put into words how I feel about this.
Better or worse?
It's worse. Yeah.
There we go.
The cookie's softer. It has more of a shortbread consistency. And I hesitate to say that. It's shortbread in flavor, a little chocolatey, super subtle chocolate, but it's almost like a cake.
We continue our quest through the jungle, but I do need to point out we discovered the popcorn bucket, and Mickey has a beret on, and it's adorable. But now we continue through the jungle to find the pirates. This pirate ship does lead us to believe we are probably going the right way. What do your elven eyes see?
Pirates.
We made it! We have found the pirates! That was a cool reveal through the cave. And now we're like in a completely different vibe of Adventureland. Look how beautiful! Pirates of the Caribbean, a classic Disney attraction. Super excited to ride the Disneyland Paris version because of one particular moment that I learned about on the Imagineering documentary on Disney Plus about this attraction specifically on the Behind the Attraction. They talked about one thing that it took the Imagineers a long time to figure out how to do it, so I'm excited to see that. No spoilers till we actually ride. Pirates of the Caribbean family boat ride. Anyone can ride this one, no height requirement, and it is very popular, as you can see the queue here. So I'm excited that they take Disney Premier Access, which would be €7 each if we were paying one by one.
Suis-je bien clair, Seigneur?
Very strange pirates.
Yeah, it's got pretty much all the scenes you know, but in a very different order than we're used to.
I did like the use of elevation, though. It takes you up into the fort, down into the sort of standard, what you're familiar with in terms of like Magic Kingdom Pirates of the Caribbean story, and then descending into the catacombs.
That was scary.
That was cool. Yeah, to your point, Alan, I really liked when you went up that first lift, you could see down to see the ships that you're gonna go by.
Yes.
A cool
Foreshadowing,
tease of the future, which we've not seen before. That was neat.
Also, you can hear throughout the attraction, especially in the first part, people sword fighting, which was the scene I was setting up. There is a sword fight on display, which when it opened in the 90s was very revolutionary, a new challenge the Imagineers took on at this attraction, and it was a cool display.
It was.
Also cool, but so scary. I was about to say, in my head I thought, it's weird we're not using the movie in this version, it's just a classic Pirates, and right as I thought there, a pirate turned into a nightmare skeleton, and I realized it was Barbossa.
That was a very cool scene.
That was a
cool
very
effect.
cool
Very cool
effect
effect
right there. And then you get to see Captain Jack at the end, so it was longer than Magic Kingdom's, definitely.
For sure.
I really liked it, actually. It just was, it was different, and that's
Yeah.
why it's fun to ride more than one version of this ride. It's a classic for a reason.
Very cool addition to the space is Skull Rock, which we are now inside of. This is specifically looking at its mouth, but you can see the eyes up above. It is also very dark, so much that there's a caution about it being a low-lit area when you head inside. And now here we are at eye level. This is so cool. You can look out and see Adventure Isle, the pirate ship. Max and Molly taking B-roll. That's not outside, that's inside, but still, you thought you'd want to know.
Well, after our venture on Pirates of the Caribbean, we're keeping it in theme, but also changing lands, because Adventureland actually transitions very nicely into Fantasyland, going from the Pirates area featuring Skull Rock, the pirate ship, and Pirates of the Caribbean into Peter Pan's Flight. The first ride when you step into Fantasyland from Pirates of the Caribbean is indeed Peter Pan's Flight. Of course, a Disney classic and beloved around the world. How do I know that? Because it currently has an 80-minute wait time.
The chokehold Peter Pan has across these theme parks.
It is truly stunning. And not only that, let's talk about the Premier Access, because of course we have Premier Access to all of these rides. We can ride each one of them one time today, but if you wanted to buy a Premier Access pass for just Peter Pan's Flight today, it would currently cost €16 or $20 US. That is too many dollars for Peter Pan's Flight.
You know, if you had told me that I just got off the 1955 original, I'd believe you.
She was a bumpy flight.
Yes, yes. I didn't know if it was because we were all three in a row, but a few times I was like, are we making this turn?
Yeah, we got specifically stopped on decline, and I was full pressed into that restraint bar.
Just praying it's holding.
Yeah.
Just,
It
come
did.
on, hold.
It did.
And it did. That's most like the Disneyland version of Peter Pan's Flight.
Yes, definitely. And it doesn't have the Omnimover like Magic Kingdom, and it doesn't have the tech updates that we really liked in Shanghai. It's Peter Pan's Flight. It's a classic. It's beloved. It is. People love Peter Pan's Flight for a reason. I love Peter Pan's Flight for a reason. Yeah. That said, if you are like us and you go to the domestic parks a lot, if you go to Walt Disney World a lot, you do not need to wait an 80-minute line for this.
No.
Or spend $20
on it.
Yeah.
Right around the corner from Peter Pan's Flight, the most important of stops in Fantasyland, Toad Hall. Yes, the home of one J. Thaddeus Toad Esquire is indeed present here in Disneyland Paris, but you will not find a ride, wild or not, in Paris. Instead, a restaurant. Here, J. Thaddeus Toad has decided that since he has not been yet evicted by the villain Winnie the Pooh, he will instead serve fish and chips. Yes, primarily a fish and chips house. We will probably go instead for a sweet treat, the roll of Mr. Toad. But of course we had to make a visit to your favorite and mine, J. Thaddeus Toad Esquire. While the inside of Toad Hall will not feature a wild ride, it does have some wild inclusions. There's art all over the place featuring our favorite J. Thaddeus Toad in all manner of adventures, whether he's being an alpinist or golfing, perhaps taking part in a boxing match. My favorite may be the Van Gogh. Oh, it's not just Van Gogh. There are multiple Renaissance paintings of Mr. Toad on a digital display over the fireplace. That is
he Shakespeare now?
It is that he does appear to be one Bill Shakespeare. Yes.
I like his driving goggles hanging right there.
We do have the driving goggles. Yes, of course. There is a sign about the Wosley, the car. Oh, he's Mona Lisa now. Oh, good.
I would say he's totally so.
Oh, I love this. I didn't know I needed that in my life, and now I'm changed forever. I will, of course, taste the roll of Toad. This is lemon cake with cream cheese frosting. It's very lemony. The cake is a bit dry, but the lemon flavor certainly comes through. If you want a very light, sweet treat, this is definitely that, but it's got that lemon flavor. Now listen, we didn't have the fish and chips, so I can't speak to them. I will say I'd probably pass on the cake, but even if you're not going to eat the food of Toad Hall, coming in and looking at this place, I think, is a must. If you are a fan of this character at all, we chose to seat in the other seating area, not by the Renaissance painting, and the picture over the door of Toad having bested a tiger while another one threatens to eat him, or maybe the craziest thing I have seen in here, Toad-shaped armor with the very confusing eye holes and fingers, are worth the price of admission. I mean, this place is truly stunning, from the wallpaper to the art to the props on display. I don't care if you eat here or not. Come pay your respects to one J. Thaddeus Toad Esquire.
All right, well, after that treat from Toad Hall, we are headed to It's a Small World. Now, I do hear that this version is slightly different than what we are used to in Walt Disney World, so I'm excited to see those differences. This also takes Premier Access. If you pay for that individually, it is €5 per person, and I'm excited to go on another boat ride through It's a Small World.
a fun thing about traveling internationally is you get to see how other countries view your country.
And what I now know, America viewed as the Statue of Liberty,
Of course, it was a gift from France,
Hollywood,
obviously.
the Golden Gate Bridge,
That's two for California.
a football player.
And a baseball player. I loved that.
That, you know, I'm thrilled we rode Small World.
Just for that.
Just that whole room was one wild thing after another.
I feel as though generally it's Disneyland's version, but a little bit bigger. It doesn't have the character add-in.
Yeah, no Disney characters in it.
Although I could have sworn we saw Ariel at one point.
Yeah, there was a mermaid for
Yeah.
some reason.
With red hair.
Yeah. But mostly it was just the Disneyland version, but like scaled up. Like the set pieces
Yeah.
felt bigger. So I don't know that you need to ride it if you're used
If you're
to.
from America, it's worth riding.
You know, if for no other reason than, boy,
Some self-awareness.
yeah, something that we sorely lack.
Come get a dose of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Ride.
Be slapped in the face for everything that we offer to the world.
I was so tickled on that.
Also, the hippo was sober.
Oh,
I prefer my hippos drunk.
oh man.
All right, what's next?
I do have a show to get to, but I had to point out this dining location. It's the Old Mill. It's got some snacks and treats, but it is themed to the Old Mill, the 1937 Disney cartoon, where they debuted the use of the multiplane camera, which was a device that the Disney company invented and revolutionized how animation works. And I'm just tickled that it gets representation here in a park in the form of a snack stand. They do have mini crepes here. So we may be back for actual food, but this is just awesome. We wove our way back through Adventureland and Frontierland and have arrived at the Frontierland Theater to see our first show here at Disneyland Paris, which I've heard the entertainment here is incredible. And we are seeing The Lion King, Rhythms of the Pride Lands. I don't know much about this show on purpose. It features music from The Lion King, which is my favorite Disney movie, and I'd argue the best Disney music, so super excited to see it. Just like with Premier Access, you can reserve viewing for the theater shows across both parks here, as well as the Nighttime Spectacular in this park, and you can do it in advance. So thank you again to our travel agent for making sure we had reserved viewing for one of these shows. Today, reserved viewing is 15 euros per person.
Simba, now take your place in the circle of life.
a pretty good show.
I cried. That's surprising to 0 people, but it was kind of an ugly cry because they played Shadowland.
Into He Lives in You.
Those are Broadway songs, and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Big production. I mean, lots going on that stage. Some really amazing acrobatics that they've added in.
I think I could do some of those things. You guys saw how acrobatic I am yesterday.
I really did, and so
hire me.
believe
I'll
in you.
swirl up there. The upper body strength it would take to do some of those things is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And core strength.
All in all, I think it was just such a fantastic show, telling the story of the Lion King through the music that is throughout. It's hard to find anything bad to say about that experience.
Tons of talent on that stage. I mean, they really showed out.
That was awesome. I do highly recommend purchasing the reserve viewing. That show filled to the brim, and it's not even super busy today. They're already way packed lined up for the next show, so knowing we had a seat in a good section, because they let the reserve viewing in first, was definitely a delight.
And I can see why it packs.
Yeah.
It's clear to me that is 100% a huge draw, and I get it.
That shows the way they did the fight between Simba and Scar was
Very
really cool. I can't say enough awesome things about it.
And for lunch, we are headed to Colonel Hattie's Outpost Restaurant. That's right, Colonel Hattie from The Jungle Book, the pachyderm. On the menu here, we have butter chicken and Mickey pizza. A natural combination. So I'm excited to try one of the two, maybe both.
I love the very subtle Jungle Book music you can hear as you're walking through here. It's just the very subtle score, but it's a nice touch. And it does feel like you're in the jungle. What will happen when we walk in? That one, it's up for debate. This is awesome. It's the San Pellegrino Explorers Club. Oh, don't mind if I do. This is very cool in here. There are jungle birds above us and trees inside.
I'm here to talk about butter chicken. Let's get into it. Looks like we have 2 sides of naan, the portion of rice too, and chicken if I'm being honest. I'm also a fan of the spork. I didn't think I'd see the return of the spork, but here we are. Oh wow. That's pretty good. Here's what I'll say. It's not as heavily spiced as I normally like butter chicken. And we're talking like the garam masala or like the cardamom or anything like that. They're there, but it's super subtle. I think it's cooked really well. The rice is nice and fluffy. Chicken is very tender, not dry at all. And for the naan, that's fine naan.
And I'll be reviewing this Mickey-shaped pizza in this very interesting plate. They also had cheese. But the first thing I want to call it is this is a massive serving. This is far bigger than a puffy pizza. I think I'm gonna go for his ear. It may not be a puffy pizza, but it is definitely its better looking cousin. Not much better looking, but it's got that puffy pizza quality, or that oven made frozen pizza quality. The crust is fine. It could be cooked a little bit more. It's a little chewy. The pizza sauce is very one note, but there's a lot of cheese. Credit where credit's due. I personally would not order this again, but I bet kids would like it. And again, it's a huge serving, so I think there's better food to be had, but this is kind of what I expect from quick service Disney pizza. Also, different from the American parks, you can buy alcohol in Disneyland. So Alan and I are both also enjoying a Kronenberg, which is a delicious French beer.
Cheers. I've already been enjoying it.
With food freshly in our stomach, we will do the next most obvious thing. Ride a roller coaster. We are going to be riding Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril. This is a roller coaster that appears to be very similar to one that we rode in Tokyo Disney Sea that was called Raging Spirits. It's a 2-car roller coaster, and we will see if it is the exact same as Raging Spirits, which would mean it features an inversion. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril does have a height requirement of 1.4 meters or about 55 inches. And if you were to buy the priority access one pass for this, it would be €7, which is about $9.
We survived the Peril.
We did indeed. And it was, in fact, the exact same ride as Raging Spirits in Tokyo, except with a much higher height requirement.
And there's some of the special effects they have in Tokyo, like a fog effect. Did not have it.
No.
But it did go upside down.
It did. It was a little louder than what I remember it being in Tokyo. But overall, still like a fun mini coaster. I shouldn't say mini coaster, you do invert, but
It's
a fun
pretty-
short coaster.
It's pretty short, and if it had a long line, I don't think I would wait in line for it. There's much more unique, exciting attractions here, but if you want a little coaster thrill. We have made it into Discoveryland, which might as well be called Jules Verne Land, because he heavily inspired this. This is their version of Tomorrowland. You can see the Around the World in 80 Days blimp balloon situation nestled over there. You've got Hyperspace Mountain right here, which used to be From Earth to the Moon. And you have the Nautilus parked right here from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. One thing unique about Disneyland Paris is there's several of these walkthrough experiences. Like in Adventureland, you have both the Smithsonian Robinson Treehouse, but as well as that pirate walkthrough we did. We're going down into a submarine. I hope we find a creature. Oh, there are treasures to behold now. When did Captain Nemo find all this? Has he told anyone about this? Speaking of, here's his chamber. Oh, he is a small guy.
He sleeps on that bed?
He's a little guy.
He must be a very small man.
He's a little man.
Alan, would you fit on that, you think? No.
Oh, this is cool. Oh, here's Volcania, which he's discovering right now. This is where at Tokyo Disney Sea, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Yeah, the volcano there. That's cool. Love a little tie-in moment. Whoa.
It would appear the Nautilus has company.
Des dauphins. Magnifiques.
I hope there's a shark.
Ils sont réputés comme certains des mammifères les plus intelligents de la planète.
I have an observation to make.
Okay.
Okay, this is the giant squid.
It's much bigger than the human.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's. I'm so glad you said that because we have a human for scale,
Yeah.
and so that makes you think this squid very big.
Yeah.
But now we've seen how small that bed was, and so I ask you: is the squid that big, or is the
Nemo
person
just that small?
small?
That's a fair point.
It might just be. This whole time we've heard about a giant squid. It might just be a normal squid.
It's just that Captain Nemo is small.
He's so. I mean, a grown man sleeping in that bed.
Being in the engine room, I can only think of Titanic. But maybe that's just me.
That was all the mysteries of the Nautilus.
The mystery was how small is
How
Captain
small
Nemo.
is Captain Nemo?
That is the mystery.
It truly is.
Alan?
About 5'1".
I think smaller.
Yeah, I'm not sure Captain Nemo could ride Indiana Jones the Temple of Peril. It's a high range for a Disney attraction, but I think that he might not need to sit that one out.
Captain Nemo may not be able to ride that. So actually, everything he's ever discovered isn't giant. It's just he's small.
He's just small. He's just like, man, I've never seen something so big before.
And everyone's like, okay, little guy. Next up, Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast, which I'm led to believe is this park's version of Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. This is a fun attraction with no height requirement where you are going to help Buzz collect the batteries and save the planet from the evil Emperor Zurg. This one has Premier Access and would be 12 euros per person to skip if you didn't have Ultimate. It's pretty popular, it seems. It's got one of the longer wait times in the park, and I'm excited to see what Buzz looks like on this continent.
Look forward to the flight deck for immediate launch. To infinity and beyond.
Hi, Buzz.
Veuillez s'il vous plaît vous asseoir au fond de vos salles.
We have learned two things.
Uh-huh.
One, Captain Nemo,
Small.
small, half a valid,
Might make the giant squid
more manageable,
average.
normal.
You might just think I'm a giant.
Imagine being so small
Yeah.
and then seeing just a normal animal and thinking,
That's a giant.
that elephant's
Yeah. A
massive.
giant elephant.
Fish.
Well, that's just
or
how
just-
big elephants
Or
are.
just an elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've solved a lot of mysteries of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with
Yeah.
that discovery. We also, again, played Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
It was the same as Disneyland, which is fun and current state better than Walt Disney World because you can pick the blaster up. However, Walt Disney World is going under Reno later this year where they're going to be able to pick the blaster up and adding other tech. So
Mostly like haptics, things that make it to where people like me who can't see where you're shooting can actually see where you're shooting.
For what it's worth, I also couldn't see where I
yeah,
was
for
shooting.
what it's worth,
Thank
you
goodness.
won, which I think,
No, I got level 4. I
no, but
didn't-
you had 120 something
That's
and
more
Max
than
had
us.
100 something and I had 80 something.
Well-
and I think because you were in your own car helps
That's
you.
why.
Yeah.
What we've learned from anything, dear viewer, is that if I'm in my own car, I've got a fighting chance. That pigeon flew so close to our
It
heads just now.
escaped from Jules Verne's ship.
It did.
It was a giant pigeon.
No, not
that's
Captain
Nemo.
Nemo.
No, that's Nemo.
The ship to
Imagine-
go around the world.
Imagine the fear if you thought pigeons were giant.
Oh, sure.
Terrifying.
Well, when you're as small as Captain Nemo, everything is giant.
Well, I think Molly has something left on her list of things to do, and that is to find a champagne cart on Main Street. So we're going to go in search of that.
Yeah, or more cheese. One of the two.
Ah,
Only in Disneyland Paris can you get champagne, custom Disneyland Paris champagne in a custom flute and drink it on Main Street. And this has been a dream of mine ever since I found out you could do that.
cheers.
Cheers. It's good champagne too. It's at one specific cart right by the ice cream parlor, and now they're doing a little show, so they're playing a lot of Disney music.
Yeah, there's a lot of, so the emphasis of the celebration right now in Disneyland Paris is around different musical celebrations. This is sort of the culmination of all of those individual shows that happen throughout the park here at the hub of Main Street, USA.
I can't imagine a better moment than drinking champagne with Disney music. Two favorite people, beautiful castle, golden hour. It's just the dream right here.
Quick update, Hyperspace Mountain is currently down, but well, if it comes back up, we'll go and ride it, or if it doesn't come back up today, I'm having to change my hints. If it doesn't come back up today, you'll be seeing that footage here. As it stands, we're gonna go to Fantasyland and maybe check out some of those attractions that we didn't ride this morning. And I'm just gonna get out of this. That's really where we're at. Wow.
Our Fantasyland exploration has led us to Le Pays des Contes de Fées, which I think means small boat. Update, it means the land of fairy tales. This is Disneyland Paris's version of the Storybook Land canal boats, which we do not have in Magic Kingdom, but they are in Disneyland, and they're one of my favorite kind of quaint, nostalgic Disneyland things. We're gonna board a small boat and then head through small versions of classic Disney movie settings. And I'm excited to see what movies they have here and what magical places we're gonna visit. This one does not have a height requirement, nor does it take Disney Premier access, but it's at a pretty low wait throughout the day. Like, for example, right now it's only a 5-minute wait.
there to say about a storybook canal where you get to ride through scenic sets of small miniature towns? Other than that, it was cute.
This is Captain Nemo's.
Captain Nemo lives in. I think he could just.
Not on Mount Olympus. Mount Olympus is a rock.
He
You
can
just
fit
go
it all
door
of
to
them.
door.
This is his paradise. He actually lives there.
Every day he hops on a giant space vessel.
Yeah, the
And
boats to him, ginormous.
Yeah.
That ride's so cute. It's cute in Disneyland. It's cute here as well. Interesting difference. These boats are like motored versus in Disneyland you have a cast member drive you.
There's also no story given. You're just like,
No,
hey,
you gotta read it in the queue.
yeah.
Also, I will say, getting on and off Disneyland, especially getting off,
Yeah.
is always a little dicey. And
Yeah.
so I appreciate it not being quite so dicey.
Yeah,
here.
I think that would only work in Disneyland
Yeah.
to make every guest get up at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone on 3 stand.
Would never work.
I've
anywhere
always
else.
been surprised we don't tip over.
I'm amazed every
You
time.
just gotta have
honestly.
guests who listen, which
Honestly,
is
it could
becoming
al-
increasingly hard.
It could only work in Disneyland and Tokyo. I think that ride's cute. Do you need to wait a long time for it? No, but it's been like 10 minutes or less all day. It's fun, and if you're a Disney World person, it's very different from anything we have in Magic Kingdom, so I think it's worth a ride.
Great news for us, Hyperspace Mountain has reopened, and therefore we are able to ride it. Now, you may think to yourself, Hyperspace Mountain, that is a ride that exists domestically. Why are you taking time to ride that? Well, let me tell you, dear listener, this ride originally opened as Space Mountain from Earth to the Moon in 1995, a few years after the park opened, and it opened with a distinctly steampunk design themed after Jules Verne's From Earth to the Moon. That is actually why on the exterior of this Space Mountain attraction, while the shape may look familiar to you, you will see a large cannon that is strapped to the side of it, because in that story they take a cannon and are launched to the moon. This Space Mountain is incredibly unique when it comes to the rest of the ones around the world. It is the only Space Mountain to feature inversions, a launch, and a section of the ride track that goes outside and then re-enters the building. It was also, when it opened, the first Space Mountain to feature synchronized onboard audio. So it is truly one of a kind when it comes to Space Mountain, although today some of that theming has been changed over, now featuring Hyperspace Mountain, but the exterior is certainly unique, and a lot of those additions that they made in 1995 still remain today. Now, the height requirement for Hyperspace Mountain is 1.2 meters, or about 47 inches for us that are not on the metric system. And if you were to buy a Premier Pass for this, it would currently be 14 euros, which would be around 16 to 18 US dollars.
120 centimeters or 1.5 Captain Nemo.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that does look like 1.5 of our little guy.
Our little buddy.
Oh, little small guy.
That was so fun.
That was awesome.
Even as a non-certified Star Wars girly, when you hear that music, you can't help but get hyped.
It was so dark.
It was very dark. It is, I think that's the best version of Space Mountain I've ridden. I mean, the inversion's coming out of nowhere
It's
because
so
of how
dark,
dark it
yeah.
is. The audio on board is awesome. The launch at the beginning is really
Yeah.
cool.
And then just the Star Wars added moments of like the lightsabers and the pew 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 pew.
Yeah, the fact that there are just TIE fighters
Yeah.
everywhere throughout that
Yeah.
entire time, just shooting at you.
Yeah.
That's wild. But again, it's so dark.
Yeah, that's fun. Definitely the most thrilling version of Space
For
Mountain.
sure.
Yeah, that was awesome. Definitely, if you're a thrill person, a must ride if you're at this park.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right, so we have run to 2 locations. That's right, not 1, but 2. We went to Casey's Corner to pick up a hot dog on a baguette, and Molly ran to the bake shop on Main Street, USA, to pick up a selection of items. We've gathered quite the smorgasbord here. We have a beignet stuffed with Nutella, a quiche, cheese quiche, carrot cake, and a hot dog. Now, you might be looking at this and say, that hot dog doesn't have any toppings. I'm here to tell you, go ahead and get that wiener out of the way. That is a hot dog that is stuffed with Doritos, that's nachos, barbecue sauce, and caramelized onions underneath. Yes, the toppings underneath.
That's right. Hey, listen, I would call that not a bad hot dog right there. I kind of like that the toppings are under there. The Doritos give a nice little crunch to add on there. I like the barbecue sauce on it as well. So, listen, we have Casey's Corner at home. I had somebody make me look them in the eye and promise them that I was going to eat this hot dog when I visited Paris, and so I did. But you know, you can pass it if you want, but if you're looking for something that is a nice little snack, it won't hurt.
To be clear, eating that hot dog would hurt me as a hot dog hater, but I'm glad to hear it's pretty good. I, however, as a cheese lover, have been told to go get this quiche at the Curie Bake Shop. Curie is a French dairy company that partnered with Disney, and everything in this bakery has some Curie product in it, so this is an egg and cheese quiche. That is, without question, the best thing I've eaten today. It is so cheesy. It is creamy. It is cheesy. It is dreamy. The egg is light. It's so simple, but the crust is fluffy. Like, it's a huge serving. This is phenomenal. I also grabbed the carrot cake, which I've been told is delicious, and it's got the cream cheese in the frosting. So there's your dairy element. I'm pretty good too. I like the crunch from the nuts. I wish there was a little bit more of that throughout the cake. Unlike the toad cake we had earlier, this one has no problem being nice and moist. A lot of good flavor, a lot of those autumnal spices that you associate with carrot cake, like cinnamon and nutmeg. Not super sweet at all. Little sweetness from the cream cheese frosting, but if you like carrot cake, this is actually very good. And I, as a not super sweets heavy person, like the portion size of this compared to this beignet.
Which I'm going to eat. Beignet all day. All right. So much Nutella.
I mean, you got a chomp. The ears have nothing, for the record.
Wow, that's a really good beignet. White and very fluffy. Wow, that's so much Nutella in there. If you are not looking to eat that, approach an ear. If you would like to just have a mouthful of chocolate hazelnut spread, then you know where to go. Overall, I think this is a great dessert, especially if you are a Nutella fan and a beignet fan. Perfect combo.
And I want to point out that the Nutella beignet, as well as several of the other desserts, you can get them inside, or there's a walk-up window outside that has this, the pain au chocolat, and a couple other things.
And to end our evening, we are headed to watch the nighttime show here, Disney Tales of Magic. And once again, we are headed to a reserved area for us. Now, if you want to book this for yourself, it starts at 19 euros per person, but today it was 24 euros per person. And I just have to say, the castle at night is just stunning. Wow.
In your heart, it's timeless like a classic.
Cette chose que l'on ressent à l'intérieur de soi.
Sometimes magic is something you feel inside.
It's a whole family problem. Every turn I take, every trial I try, every pass I make.
You see, he lives in you. La véritable magie se trouve en chacun de nous.
Find your magic, embrace it, and pass it on.
All right, well, that was a phenomenal show.
The drone usage was very cool. I was very tickled by the alien from Toy Story. Like, laughed out loud, was so happy.
It was also seamless, like just a seamless integration. They didn't have a bunch of like huge fireworks in the sky, but that's okay. When you have drones performing like that, I'm not sure that I need them.
I think that people are moving towards drones because of the environmental impact of fireworks, and I honestly wish more domestic parks used them, because to me they're magic. They're so novel, and I kept being like, what's gonna appear next?
Yeah. Even when they're not a shape, just like stars.
In the back.
Made it was just a cool
It's very
effect.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And I like the fountain edition as well, something different than domestic parks.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the show?
Lion King. The Lion King part got me in tears with Mufasa appearing in the sky, but also that music is my favorite Disney music, and it just is so powerful and emotional.
Yeah.
Me? Oh, goodness. It's diabolical to pair Hercules with Moana. Both of those do me in, and that happened early, and I was a wreck the rest of the time. So.
Both those sections are great. I'll plus one. Just there was a fun Toy Story section.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of Buzz Lightyear.
The Buzz, the Zurg drone,
yeah.
the alien drone. It was just fun. It wasn't the emotional part of the show, but it was a good time.
Also, I liked the Encanto section with Bruno.
Oh,
that part was
yeah,
fun.
that was fun.
That was a good mix of songs you don't always hear in nighttime shows also. Absolutely, highly recommend seeing that show if you are here in this park. And I do recommend, I know it costs money, but I do recommend getting the reserved seating. It was so nice to have a perfect view of the show right in the center of Main Street, not deal with the crowd behind us. But as a pro tip, get there early to your return window, because the earlier you get there, the better seat you get. Also, as a nice little moment, they had a kids section where they invited all these small children to come up so they didn't have to worry about seeing, and no parents had to put them on top of their shoulders, which I thought was nice. And as much as we did in Disneyland Paris today, we couldn't do it all, but we had a friend day off camera where we saw and ate a few more things, so you can check out those highlights right now. You're Tim, I'm Tad.
Yeah, these are both brookies.
Once again, find myself lost in the hedge maze.
How do you feel about that, Alan?
Not good.
Do you see the king?
Yeah.
He's Captain Nemo. He's
Look at the little guy. Oh, he's like a little guy. Oh, Captain Nemo.
He's just like a little guy.
He's just a little tiny small guy.
Get on his little booster seat and he's gonna
Drive his little ship.
gonna kick his little legs. this little candy shop, and it is themed to the three fairies. And now we realize it is the cottage they take Aurora, Briar Rose, to in the woods, and it looks beautiful behind Sleeping Beauty Castle. He's very talkative. I'm very stressed right now.
Do you think it got on my ice cream?
I don't. He's pretty. There's another one in there.
But that brings us to an end of our first day here in Disneyland Paris. Okay, we did a lot. We did a whole lot today.
We did a lot.
We also ate a lot today. What was your favorite thing you did? Doesn't have to be an attraction, can be a show or anything like that. And thing you ate or drank?
Maybe we take the nighttime show
out.
Off the table.
Off the table.
Off the table. For me, I really loved crossing off the final pirates off of my list. That's been on my bucket list to ride every pirate, so that was very cool. And this version was very fun, but I also got to give it to that Lion King show. That was so wonderful. Such a special treat. I really enjoyed that. And for food, it's got to be the quiche. I loved that very cheesy
A late
quiche.
edition, but a good one.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to be surprised by this, but Hyperspace Mountain.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I knew I wanted to ride that because of just the history of that ride and how unique of a Space Mountain is, but man, those inversions.
Was nuts.
So
fun
thrilling,
coaster.
a fun coaster. And my favorite food, go back to the morning, that croque monsieur was a bang.
Yes.
I'm going to plus one the croque monsieur. That was incredible. But I have to say, another early morning for me, Phantom Manor.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
What a fun story and twist on the Haunted Mansion, setting it squarely in Frontierland.
Yeah.
Very cool and unique. Love that.
Can I add one more? I must.
I
must.
You wouldn't be you if not.
Yeah.
If
All right,
not
but
you.
we're all gonna want this one. The dragon under the castle.
Oh my God.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I pet that dog? That's all I
Yeah. Boop, I wanted to boop that snoot. Well, it has been a wonderful, wonderful day, and we have another Disney Park day here while we're in France, so come back to check out our Disney Studios video.
And we'll be spending some time in Paris, the city, as well, so check those out too.
True. But until next time, friends, please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, follow us on all of our socials, and come join with the MamFam on Discord. We'd love to have you there. Links for all that down below.
And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Max.
And it has been truly magnifique.
Oh.
Bye. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bon journey.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.